Today Davide the 6th birthday of my dear grandson Leo. The house was filled to the brim. Children danced through the living room, their laughter ringing like sweet music, as the crinkling of plastic wrapping accompanied the joyous unveiling of gifts. The sweet aroma of buttercream frosting danced through the air, harmonizing with the lively melodies of pop music and the delightful commotion of hurried footsteps. The noise was overwhelming. It was a delightful chaos. The evening unfolded as a delightful gathering. Samantha, my beloved daughter, and her husband David knelt beside Leo, who stood proudly at the heart of it all, adorned from head to toe in a charmingly simple night costume from the Super Davidet. He brandished a plastic sword as if he had just emerged triumphant from a grand and noble quest. Henry, my beloved husband, reclined on the couch, a playful smile gracing his lips as he waved a charming little toy before Leo, filling the air with delightful whoosh and roar sounds to elicit laughter. I found myself in the kitchen. The stovetop whispered and sighed softly behind me. I glided gracefully, much like a devoted waitress on a bustling Saturday night, skillfully chopping, sautéing, stirring, and checking the oven with an air of elegance. The kitchen door remained closed, gently shielding the serene space from the lively sounds of the celebration beyond. Beyond the sturdy wooden barrier, the words eluded my understanding. Only laughter. Forever filled with laughter. Mother. Samantha's voice floated gently from the living room. Do remember to bring Leo's cherished delight. Delicate vanilla pudding. And, she added with a charming smile, I brought back some delightful soybeans from Nashville. Could you incorporate those into your delightful baked beans and beef creation? Oh, how I long for that. It feels like an eternity since I last experienced it. Oh, and might you also prepare a delightful chicken pot pie? Your culinary creations surpass any dining experience I have ever encountered. A delicate smile graced my lips, yet I remained silent. It was a smile that held an emptiness within. The kind that appears genuine, provided you don't gaze too intently. Each dish they spoke of demanded hours of meticulous preparation. Gently infusing and lovingly slow-roasting dough crafted from the very beginning. This was more than merely a meal. It was a test of perseverance. I let out a soft sigh, gently wiped my hands, strolled to the door, and called out, Henry? My mind is a whirlwind of thoughts and emotions, swirling in a delightful chaos. Would you be so kind as to wash this cut of meat for me? The laughter beyond the window lingered on, a melody that refused to fade. Silence lingers. I raised my voice once more, calling out with greater fervor. Yet, there remains an absence. I lingered in anticipation. And then I surrendered. With a gentle determination, I rolled up my sleeves, returned to the cutting board, and immersed myself in the task at hand. 3 hours later, the kitchen resembled a chaotic battlefield. Oil glistened upon the floor, while a cascade of tarnished pots lay in disarray within the sink, my hands tender and swollen from the ceaseless rhythm of chopping. Even my back seemed reluctant to fully embrace its upright grace. Yet, before summoning everyone to the table, I inhaled deeply, savoring the moment. Gently adjusted my apron. Perfected a smile. I have news to share. A whisper of something to share, a spark that may infuse the air with a touch of my own excitement. That very morning, I had the pleasure of acquiring a scratch-off ticket from the grocery store. Simply a fleeting fancy. Today David's the celebration of Leo's birth, I mused. Perhaps fortune will smile upon me. As I leaned against the counter, I absent-mindedly scratched it while the stew gently simmered, filling the air with its rich aroma. In that moment, I found myself utterly still. $10,000, a sum that dances gracefully in the realm of dreams and desires. 1,000. Currency of dreams. I examined it thrice, revisiting the lottery website on 2 occasions, certain that it must be a mere printing error. Alas, it cannot be so. It was indeed genuine. I had emerged victorious. A humble $2 scratcher purchased at the corner gas station, and in an instant, my life blossomed anew. A gentle whisper, perhaps, from the cosmos. There is no need for you to continue in this manner. I intended to share everything with them during our dinner together. Infuse it with joy. Delight them with an unexpected gesture. Let us partake in the spoils together. It may not be grand, yet it is certainly ample for all to receive a delightful token. A birthday gift for Leo, and perhaps a little something for myself as well. Yet, in that moment, Leo swept into the kitchen with an undeniable presence. His visage was delicately contorted in a frown. "You forgot to bring out the cake," he said sharply. "I no longer desire your food." In a swift motion, he seized a full cup of soda from the counter and sent it flying through the air. Whether it was intentional or not, his action struck me deeply. The viscous liquid cascaded onto my chest, saturating my shirt with its warmth. I inhaled sharply and retreated, colliding with the cabinet behind me. The cup met the tile with a delicate clash, shattering into a cascade of fragments. Before I could utter a single word, Henry's voice rang out from the living room. "Oh, come on, he's just a child. Please, let us maintain our composure." I stood there, my palms ablaze with the shock, droplets cascading down like a gentle rain. No one entered the room. No one raised their gaze. They continued to savor their cake, their eyes glued to their phones, as if I were but a whisper in the air, unnoticed and unacknowledged. And that was the moment it all changed. The gentle spark within me has extinguished. As if a delicate thread had been pulled from a soft glow. In the absence of light, there is a distinct absence of warmth. No longer shall we wear masks. I steeled myself against the ache in my heart, composed my features with grace, and presented the final dish, pondering if this was the opportune moment to reveal the delightful news of the lottery. Yet, as I gracefully emerged from the kitchen and drew near the table, my feet came to an unexpected halt. Beside Henry sat a woman, exquisitely adorned, a graceful smile gracing her lips, her eyes gliding over the table with the effortless charm of one who had frequented this place, as though she were meant to be there. She turned her head, a gentle smile gracing her lips as she softly uttered, "Hi, Evelyn." It took me a fleeting moment to recognize the beauty of her face. Grace Harper. In the days when Henry and I roamed the halls of our school, she was the enchanting girl who captured his heart. He penned her love letters, capturing her essence with delicate sketches in his notebooks. He likely would have immortalized her in the yearbook, had they permitted him to do so. In time, she departed, embraced marriage, and we each followed our own paths. I had only recently come across her husband's obituary on Facebook. And now, here she was, gracing my table, nestled beside Henry, so near that it seemed she had claimed my place before I even realized it was available. Her arrival was swift and unexpected. It was as if time stood still, her anticipation palpable, as she lingered at the door, eagerly counting down the moments until I finally made way for her. I parted my lips to offer her a warm greeting, maintaining a sense of decorum, yet Henry interjected with a piercing look and an air of impatience. "What kept you away for so long? There are souls in need of nourishment. What on earth were you doing in there?" The word struck me with an unexpected force. It is not a salutation. Not a matter of concern. Merely a gentle admonition. As if the last 3 hours I had devoted to perfecting each dish were merely a fleeting inconvenience. He then turned to Grace, delicately placing a rib onto her plate, and offered her a warm smile. A smile that had long been absent from his face, now graced it once more. "Do give this a try, dear Grace. While she may not excel in many areas, I must commend her for her redouble culinary skills." And in that moment, I found myself whisked away to a beautifully different realm of existence. A place where I found myself an outsider within the very walls I once called home. Before I had the chance to utter a single word, Leo rose abruptly and exclaimed, "Grandma is stealthily bringing food into the kitchen. That is the reason I find myself yearning for sustenance." Samantha leaped in with a melodious laugh. "Oh, is that so? And how is it that you possess such knowledge, my dear?" Leo swelled with a sense of pride, his cheeks gently rounding with the warmth of his emotions. I beheld her. She dined alone, offering me none of her meal. My fingers quivered gently against the delicate edge of the tablecloth. The beans had been gently simmering for hours, releasing their rich aroma into the air. The pie was lovingly hand-folded and baked to perfection, fresh from the oven. The pudding needed to cool at a perfectly measured pace. Throughout the day, I had not savored a single morsel. Yet to them, I was merely the one consumed by desire. Secretly indulging in delights while others gather, too self-absorbed to partake in shared joy, too withdrawn to embrace the warmth of family togetherness. What pained me more was not the accusation itself. It was but a deception. Leo found himself weaving tales untrue. In pursuit of their laughter and the sweet taste of their approval, he wove enchanting tales. I swallowed the lump in my throat and spoke softly, "Leo, dear, Grandma didn't sneak any food, my love. That is not the case." I found myself in the kitchen, attending to a few dishes that needed my care. I scarcely had the chance to complete it. Henry brought his hand down upon the table with a forceful gesture, the chair protesting with a screech as he rose to his feet. "Are you truly serious at this moment? He is 6 years old. It seems you are choosing to engage in a conflict with someone so young and innocent." He cast a piercing gaze in my direction, as if I were the one tarnishing the evening's charm. As if I were the one disrupting the tranquility. I gazed around the table, surrounded by my beloved family. None of them found the courage to speak on my behalf. My voice trembled softly in my throat. Not a single word escaped my lips. Just as I was on the verge of sharing my thoughts, Samantha approached and gently caressed Leo's back. Her expression tinged with a hint of impatience. "Mother is 6. He remains blissfully unaware." She gazed at me as though I were a tempestuous soul, unleashing my fervor upon an innocent child. Leo sensed the change at once. His lips quivered, and soon the tears flowed swiftly. He broke down in tears and rushed into Grace's embrace. She moved with unwavering certainty. She gathered him into her embrace, cradling him tenderly as if he were her beloved grandson, her gentle fingers caressing his back while soft whispers filled the air. "Oh, Leo, please do not let sorrow linger in your heart. Please, do not shed tears. Beloved Grandma Grace is here with us." She spoke with such grace, as if the words flowed effortlessly from her heart, as though this had eternally been her rightful domain. I stood there, my fingernails pressing into my palms, shoulders tense as if I had become a statue, frozen in that moment. I parted my lips to utter a word. "Indeed." Yet the words escaped my lips as a whisper, so soft that I could scarcely hear them myself. My throat tightened, and it seemed as though something deep within me shattered. I gazed up at the table. Beloved faces, each one of them. Yet the gazes they cast upon me, devoid of warmth, filled with an unsettling awkwardness, rendered them as distant as strangers. I sought within their expressions for a glimmer, a whisper of something, anything at all. A whisper of understanding. Yet all I beheld were furrowed brows and averted gazes, as if they were longing for me to cease this display. Then Leo, amidst his sniffles, pointed at me and declared with a heartfelt intensity, "I don't want Grandma anymore. I long for the presence of Grandma Grace. She possesses a certain charm." I gazed, entranced, and turned just in time to glimpse the delicate flutter of a smile upon Grace's lips. Delicate, nearly imperceptible, yet I perceived it. That was not an act of kindness. It was a resounding triumph. A serene and deliberate triumph. She held Leo tenderly, whispering sweetly, "Oh, wee baby. From this moment onward, we shall reside with Grandma Grace, shall we?" Samantha interjected with a bright smile, gracefully positioning herself beside her. "Indeed, Leo. Let us not cause any further distress to Grandma, shall we?" In that fleeting moment, it seemed as though I had been gently cast away from the warmth of my own sanctuary. All seemed unfamiliar. Even the family portraits adorning the wall appeared to taunt me with their silent gaze. For countless years, I have polished tables, stitched shirts, and crafted cakes to celebrate birthdays. Now merely fragments within my heart, piercing softly behind my eyes. "Grace, please indulge in your meal before it loses its warmth." Henry's voice gently pulled me from my reverie. He had already embraced Leo, drawing him close, while gracefully offering a chair to Grace, his words soft and tender. Leo found his tranquility. Allow Grandma Grace to savor her meal. I lingered at the periphery, observing them, my gaze drawn to him. In a fleeting moment, the memory of Samantha as a cherubic toddler graced my mind. She possessed a certain strength. She would weep at each meal. Resounding. Unyielding. The sound resonated through entire floors. Henry would often inquire, "Might you take her out for a while?" Peace eludes me at the table. Indeed, I did. I would cherish her, stroll with her, nourish her. And by the time I returned, he had completed his task. The table lay empty, save for the remnants scattered upon its surface. It seems I did not indulge in a single warm meal throughout that entire year. Yet, at this moment. In that moment, Henry understood the gentle art of cradling a child. At this moment, he could gracefully draw out a chair for a lady. At this moment, he could embrace his gentler side. He possessed the ability to achieve all that, yet it was not meant for me. I took my seat at the far end of the table, observing them quietly, lost in the moment. Not a single word escaped my lips. Yet, I believe my expression conveyed it all. Henry furrowed his brow, casting a discontented glance as he let his chopsticks fall onto the table with a sharp clatter. "What, are you truly going to spoil Leo's special day? The expression upon your visage. It casts a shadow of melancholy." Samantha gracefully leaped in. "Mother, might I kindly request you to refrain? Today David's the celebration of Leo's birthday. Must you truly cast a shadow upon the hearts of all around you?" David added, his voice steady yet distant. "You have come to visit your grandson, not to take center stage in a dramatic tale." "Unfortunate grandmother." Leo spoke softly, his words barely escaping his lips. In that moment, clarity enveloped me. This was not merely a family gathering. This was an exquisite display. And I found myself to be the character who had already been gracefully removed from the script. I inhaled softly, a gentle breath. And in that breath, I released an unseen weight that had anchored me for far too long. "Henry," I murmured, my voice calm and soft. "It is time for us to part ways." As the words gracefully escaped my lips, an enchanting hush enveloped the dining room. Every gaze was drawn to me as if I had just unleashed a profound secret amidst the elegance of our dinner gathering. Henry initially scoffed, reclining in his chair with a playful smirk dancing upon his lips. "My dear Evelyn, you have gracefully reached the age of 67. Do you believe you still possess the spirit of your 20s, perhaps?" He hesitated for a moment, then allowed a disdainful smile to grace his lips. "Do you truly believe that uttering such words will evoke laughter from others? Why does it matter if you wish to part ways at this stage in life?" I turned to gaze at him, his hand resting effortlessly on Grace's thigh, as if it were meant to be there. He remained blissfully unaware of my gaze upon him. I inhaled deeply and spoke with a serene grace. "If none of you feel a hint of shame, then why should I carry that burden?" His expression shifted abruptly. He sprang to his feet, the chair gliding across the hardwood floor with a sound reminiscent of a distant warning siren. "Cease the theatrics," he urged, striving to maintain a hushed tone. "Today David's the celebration of Leo's birth. I have no intention of engaging in a quarrel with you in this moment. Please, let us not transform this into a melodrama." I released a soft, weary laugh, devoid of emotion and echoing with a hint of desolation. As I crossed the threshold from the kitchen, a gentle realization washed over me. This scene was no longer mine to inhabit. It was not I who stirred the waters of discord. I was simply the one who had finally awakened. As dawn broke at 7, I gracefully prepared 8 exquisite dishes and tended to 4 pots, only to find myself gently chided for taking too long. Leo spoke untruths about my discreet indulgence in food, and not one soul at that table came to my defense. This place has never truly felt like home to me. Not quite, my dear. For decades of marriage had transformed me into a figure who could be overlooked, slighted, and substituted without the grace of a simple dialogue. Samantha's voice interjected once more, tinged with a weary sharpness. Mother, must you truly embark on this today? Aunt Grace has arrived. Could you possibly just, is it not? David, standing beside her, reiterated in his characteristic cool manner, we have come to celebrate. Not to witness your delicate unraveling. Leo, still sniffling, murmured softly, I didn't lie. I truly did not. Grace leaned in, her breath a whisper, ready to share her thoughts. Leo acted without fault. He is a charming young man. I rose to my feet. My hands tightened before I even became aware of it. The plates danced upon the table as my arms gently grazed its edge. A handful of them fell gracefully to the floor, breaking into radiant, delicate fragments. The sounds wove through the room like a haunting melody. I drew in a breath, stifling the warmth that coursed through my chest, and spoke with greater intensity, why? Why must it always be I? I prepare delightful meals, maintain a serene home, and orchestrate our adventures, yet you remain unmoved, casting shadows upon my efforts. I haven't had a bite to eat, so can you imagine what that means? Nor shall you. Leo's complexion turned ashen. He swiftly embraced Grace, enveloping her in his warm affection. Samantha and David remained motionless, gazing at me as if they were beholding my presence anew. Perhaps they were. Perhaps I had never revealed this facet of my being to them until now. I have often found myself in the shadows, unseen by those around me. The charming visage. The lady who always embraced every opportunity. I turned to Henry, my voice flowing with a calm clarity. Pay close attention, Henry. I assure you, I am quite serious. I have reached my conclusion. I seek to part ways in our journey together. He remained still, his jaw set with such intensity that his lips formed a delicate line. With a clenched jaw, he murmured, what on earth is the matter with you? It would be wise to find your serenity. You have unfortunately marred the beauty of this evening. He then gestured toward the shattered dishes. Please tidy that up. I remained still. My spine aligned with the grace of a finely crafted steel rod. Absolutely not. Each of you possesses hands and feet. Why must it always fall upon my shoulders? From this moment forward, I shall take my leave. The tension in the room wound itself ever more tightly, like a delicate thread on the verge of breaking. I gracefully pivoted and made my way to the front door. My fingers gently caressed the handle. In that moment, I was startled by the swift patter of footsteps trailing behind me, accompanied by a small, urgent voice filled with longing. Beloved grandmother. Please, stay with me. I surrendered to my instincts. Leo approached me with a half-full mug of steaming hot chocolate cradled in his hands. The very one that Grace had graciously bestowed upon him earlier. He dashed with redoubled speed. His foot stumbled upon the delicate rug. The cup trembled in his grasp, and the fragrant liquid cascaded forth, spilling elegantly across my chest. The near-scalding hot chocolate enveloped me, its warmth seeping through my clothes and caressing my skin with an intense embrace. I inhaled sharply and lost my footing, tumbling gracefully to the floor by the entrance. For a brief moment, the room lingered in a hushed stillness. In that moment, Leo became still, and tears cascaded down his cheeks, their sound piercing the air like a mournful siren. Before I could even mend my own wounds, his heart-wrenching cries pierced the air, mingling with his sorrowful sobs. Unkind grandmother. I cannot allow you to depart. It seems your affection for me has waned. His cup came to rest at my feet, rich chocolate cascading gently across the floor. My chest was soaked, my shirt adhering to my skin in a tender embrace. Unpleasant, awkward, and disheartening. I endeavored to lift myself, steadying against the floor beneath me. As my hand gently grazed Leo's leg, he faltered and fell gracefully to the floor beside me, his cries echoing with a poignant intensity. Samantha hurried to his side, lifting him with a swift motion, her gaze directed at me with a piercing intensity that felt like a stinging rebuke. Mother, he is merely a child. Was all of this truly essential? You lost your composure, overturned the table, and now you frightened him into surrendering his heart? In a moment of sheer astonishment, I found myself blinking, unable to fully grasp the reality before me. Her inquiry was not one of concern for my well-being, rather, it was a subtle accusation directed towards me. Do you truly believe he splashed that drink upon you? You were the one who left in a fit of anger. In a moment of sheer panic, he found himself lost in a whirlwind of emotions. What were your expectations, my dear? My gaze fell upon her. A gentle pressure enveloped my chest. Yet, silence lingered in the air. Then, with Grace drew near. She knelt gracefully beside Leo, enveloping him in her embrace with a gentle, soothing voice. It's perfectly all right, my dear. Allow me to assist you in changing, and this afternoon, we shall embark on a delightful adventure to select those superhero Legos that capture your fancy. How does that resonate with you? She guided him to the couch, delicately tending to his face and hands with soft tissues, her smile a soothing balm, so effortless it seemed almost choreographed, reminiscent of a woman preparing for the enchanting role of a beloved grandmother. There I remained on the floor, drenched and trembling, feeling like an overlooked figure in a cherished family portrait, cast aside and forgotten. The ache had transcended the surface of my skin. It was in the gentle awakening that this place, this table, this room, these souls, had never truly offered a place for my heart to rest. With a gentle grace, I rose to my feet. Though my fingers quivered ever so slightly, my voice emerged with a serene grace. Excessively tranquil. Do you know what? I spoke. I find myself quite pleased. My heart had already whispered its choice long before this moment arrived. Henry pivoted with a sudden grace, a hint of impatience dancing across his features. My dear Evelyn, have you truly lost your senses? Uttering these words in the presence of a child? What on earth are you attempting to achieve? Samantha, David, and Grace lingered gracefully to the side. Neither surprised nor troubled. Merely a sense of unease. Annoyed. As if I were dimming the brilliance of the performance. Grace's brow furrowed in a delicate display of discontent. Dearest Evelyn, while I understand your deep connection as Leo's grandmother, it would be wise to approach matters with a lighter heart. He is but 6 years old. He remains blissfully unaware. I cast my gaze upon each of them, taking in the moment. Beside the shattered mug that lies upon the floor. Before the remnants of a once warm meal, now left to chill upon the table. For the first time in years, a sensation both sharp and clear pierced through the veil of numbness that had enveloped me. Ought I to express my regrets? I inquired, my voice unwavering. For what purpose, my dear? For not remaining silent and embracing the role of chef just one more day? Or for finally awakening to the coldness that has enveloped this family? I was not raising my voice. Yet each word fell heavy as a stone. It seems you all enjoy the pretense of this being a family. Yet, the reality is that you penned me out of your narrative long ago. Then I gazed deeply into Grace's eyes. The farewell for your beloved husband took place just days ago. And here you are, gracing the head of my table, embracing my grandson as if it were your destiny. If you find no shame, then allow me to feel it on your behalf. Her smile wavered. She parted her lips to offer a reply. Yet, before she could utter a word, Henry gently seized her arm. I chose not to linger. I gracefully turned and made my way toward the stairs. I shall transform, I declared, my voice steady and unwavering. An Uber is on its way to collect me shortly. As I ascended the steps, I continued onward, not daring to glance back. This house, it brings you all such joy. I have reached my conclusion. Henry's expression shifted abruptly, as if a flame had ignited within him. He sprang to his feet and his wine glass collided with the table, producing a sharp crack that sent a cascade of red across the pristine white tablecloth, blossoming into a rich, passionate stain. Whom do you believe you are bringing to shame? He whispered, his jaw set tight, his voice a soft murmur tinged with a simmering intensity. Do you truly have the audacity to speak to Grace in such a manner? She has come to celebrate Leo's birthday, not to bear the weight of your emotions. He approached me, each step deliberate and unhurried, his gaze aflame with a smoldering intensity that had long been held in check, measured, and now on the brink of eruption. You shall extend your apologies to her. At this very moment. His hand rose, languid and rigid, as if it were a foreign object, detached from his very being. As if it were contemplating its own choice to unleash its power. Yet it never found its resting place. Not due to a moment of hesitation. For the simple reason that I remained utterly still. I remained poised, my chin raised, my gaze entwined with his, steadfast and unwavering. The presence in the room faded away. The silence enveloped us, profound and complete, as if we had all been drawn into an endless void. I gazed at his elevated hand. Proceed, I urged, my voice unwavering. Strike me with your words. Perhaps it is time to repay me for all those years in a single, graceful gesture. His expression wavered delicately. His fist lingered in the air for a fleeting moment, then fell gently to his side, as if surrendering to the weight of unspoken emotions. He did not strike me. Yet, he faced defeat. Not to me, but to the lady he believed would always remain serene and composed. The one he believed would forever embrace it. I inhaled deeply, letting the air linger before I released it gently, and murmured, "Do you wish for me to offer an apology?" "I shall not." "What, pray tell, do I truly owe any of you this enchanting dinner?" With unwavering dedication, I crafted each dish from the very beginning, gracing the kitchen with my presence since the break of dawn. And all of you simply reclined, anticipating my every gesture, my willingness to serve, to tidy, to nurture the children. And now you wish for me to submit to the lady who entered my abode as if she were meant to be here? I cast my eyes around the room, taking in Samantha, David, Grace, and Leo, his cheeks glistening with tears. This is not a display of frustration, I expressed. This is me, at last, perceiving the world with clarity. This enchanting abode. It has not belonged to me for quite some time now. I strolled to the entryway, gently retrieving my coat and wallet from the bench. Behind me, Henry's voice resonated, "If you step through that door, you shall find no refuge tonight. Where do you envision your journey leading you? Do not deceive yourself. No one else will cherish you as I do." I chose not to glance behind me. My voice emerged with an air of chill, distant and unfeeling. "You are indeed correct. Your patience has been truly redavitable. You've graciously allowed another woman to partake in my meals within my home, while my grandson affectionately refers to her as Grandma. Bravo, indeed." My fingers gently embraced the doorknob. As I opened the door, the evening breeze flowed in, sharp and brisk, enveloping me like a gentle embrace. Henry's voice trailed behind me, vibrant and theatrical, resonating like a man yearning to reclaim the spotlight. "She has departed. Without family, I find myself adrift, with no place to call home. Let us observe how long it takes before she returns, seeking solace once more." With a single, delicate turn, I glanced back at him. My gaze was serene. "Thus, there is no necessity. I shall not return. Never shall it be." The door softly clicked shut behind me, gently enclosing the noise, the chill of indifference, and the years of sacrifice within a final, serene snap. And I stepped gracefully into the street, embracing the allure of the night. The breeze caressed my cheeks, yet I had never experienced such clarity in all my days. As I lingered on the curb, I gracefully opened the Uber app, the world around me fading into a gentle blur. The car arrived with delightful swiftness. I gracefully settled into the back seat, resting my head against the cool glass of the window, releasing a long, deep sigh that I had unknowingly held within for what felt like an eternity. Gone are the days of standing in the chill at the bus stop. Gone are the days of waiting in line, holding on to transfer passes with anticipation. Here I am, savoring the moment, selecting my own journey, my own path. For the first time, I experienced the exquisite lightness that comes with embracing my own choices. Upon my arrival at the hospital, my chest bore the Davids of distress, blistered in crimson, the fabric of my shirt clinging to my skin in an uncomfortable embrace. Each breath caressed my being, a delicate reminder of the ache within. The air doctor, a woman in her 30s exuding a serene yet resolute presence, cast a single glance my way and furrowed her brow. "Oh dear, this burn is rather intense. Dearest, would you like us to reach out to someone on your behalf?" I offered a delicate, weary smile. "There is no necessity. I find myself in solitude." She appeared as though she had more to express, yet she merely nodded and began to collect her supplies. I reclined upon the exam table, allowing her gentle hands to tend to the wound with care. As the alcohol caressed my raw skin, I inhaled sharply, yet the sting seemed to unearth something profound within me, something ancient, weighty, and long concealed. A gentle breeze from the air vent caressed the gauze, both invigorating and comforting in its embrace. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, I experienced a gentle healing, not merely of the surface, but in a more profound, secretive place within me. 30 minutes later, I emerged from the hospital into the warm embrace of the amber dusk. The sky was softly dimming, and the air grew cooler with each passing moment. I lifted my gaze and reserved a charming room at a quaint hotel across town. It was a charming and nestled within the enchanting embrace of the historic district. $138 for a night of exquisite charm. Henry would have dismissed it with a scoff. Are you unfamiliar with the value of money? One night spent here exceeds the cost of a week's worth of groceries. Now, I find myself reclining on a pristine, gentle mattress, having just emerged from a refreshing shower, adorned in new pajamas, enveloped by a cascade of pillows. And for the very first time, the sensation belonged to me. It was a gentle embrace of my own essence. I gently unlocked my phone and began to type into the search bar. Facing divorce in your 60s, what lies ahead? The initial discovery was a Reddit post elegantly titled, "My mom got divorced at 62. It was at that moment that her true journey commenced. The comments cascaded in like a gentle rain. Please proceed, my lady. It is never too late. You are worthy of tranquility. At the age of 59, I find myself embarking on a new journey. Shall we embark on this journey together? Forget the timeline. Embrace joy. At this very moment." I found myself reading them repeatedly, and before I knew it, my eyes brimmed with tears. This was the peculiar enchantment of the internet. Those I encountered seemed to embody a warmth and connection that surpassed the bonds I had formed over decades with those I had devoted myself to. And in that moment, a sense of lightness enveloped me. Who proclaimed that life cannot begin anew at 67? Even at the age of 80, I could still embark on a journey in an RV, making my way to Seattle to witness the enchanting snowfall. There remains the enchanting possibility of learning to scuba dive in the beautiful waters of Hawaii. As long as I drew breath, I felt out of place in a kitchen steeped in grease and lingering resentment. I reclined against the headboard, my fingers gliding over the pages, rereading until I surrendered to slumber, my mind lingering on those tender words of encouragement. As I stirred from slumber, the room enveloped me in a gentle darkness. The clock chimed, Daviding the hour at precisely 8 o'clock. The glow of my phone screen illuminated the room. A multitude of missed calls awaits. Everything from Samantha. I chose not to open any of them. If she wished for Grace to embrace the role of her new mother, I would graciously grant her that desire. I gracefully navigated to WeChat, where Henry's name shimmered enticingly at the pinnacle of my pinned chats. He had shared his voice in tender messages. A multitude. I gently tapped the first one. His voice was piercing, filled with passion. Have you truly lost your senses? Causing me to feel a sense of shame in the presence of Grace. What do you believe that reveals about me? Another message. It would be delightful if you could return tomorrow and attend to the disarray in the dining room. I assure you, I shall not be raising a single finger. I chose not to respond. Instead, I penned a few words, with a gentle and deliberate grace. I look forward to our meeting in county court next month. It is there that the final chapter of the marriage shall be penned. I had already submitted my application. Only 28 days remain in this enchanting cooling-off period. The phone chimed once more. This moment, a call awaits. In that moment of uncertainty, I paused. Then, a response was given. "My dearest Evelyn." His voice resonated with a sudden intensity, echoing through the receiver. "Do you believe you possess a certain uniqueness now? At 67, navigating the complexities of love and separation? Embrace maturity. Very well. Proceed. Let us discover the extent of your journey. Do you truly believe you can navigate the world without the esteemed Collins name to support you?" As he expressed his frustrations, a gentle smile graced my lips. Bittersweet. He genuinely felt that what he bestowed upon me was the essence of freedom. The door he left ajar was a gesture of kindness, not merely a passage for the small and humble. I gently set the phone down, its screen turned away, and let my gaze drift to the soft glow of the ceiling light above me. And in that moment, my heart, having weathered the storms of chaos and pain, found its long-awaited tranquility. On that enchanting night, I chose to let each call go unanswered. The room was enveloped in darkness, save for the gentle radiance of the bedside lamp, casting a warm and inviting glow. I reclined gently against the plush pillows, my fingers gliding over a small, well-loved notebook brimming with cherished photographs from days gone by. The corners bore the gentle patina of time, capturing the exquisite moments of my youth. At the tender age of 20, adorned in a delicate handmade cotton dress, I stood beside Henry, my smile radiant as if the world held nothing but endless promise. Yet now, I perceive it with utmost clarity. That smile was merely a facade. A means to cultivate love for one's existence. To satisfy a life that never inquired about my true desires. I once believed that I had outgrown the realm of dreams. Yet, the reality was that marriage had gradually transformed me into a quietude. Enough is enough. I shall no longer retreat into the shadows. I shall no longer remain in the shadows. I cast a fleeting gaze upon my phone. A news headline gracefully emerged. Women beyond the age of 67 are beautifully redefining the essence of beginning anew. I pressed the save button. In that serene instant, I whispered a promise to myself. I remain here, alive and breathing. From this moment forth, I shall embrace a life dedicated to my own desires. As I gently set the phone aside and prepared to extinguish the light, a notification gracefully appeared on the screen. Henry had gracefully updated his Facebook status. It was a photograph. Grace, adorned in one of his button-down shirts, gracefully tidies the dining room at my home. She was gently inclined, a smile gracing her lips. She appeared as though she were meant to be in that enchanting place. Much like the lady of the manor. His caption whispered, "Some emotions remain timeless." After all these years, I never imagined our paths would cross once more. Whispers of youthful enchantment. For decades later, they had firmly established their roots. Yet, on this occasion, he chose to keep it from my awareness. I released a laugh, cold and hollow, echoing through the silence. In that moment, another notification gracefully appeared. My dearest Samantha. Instagram. Identical image. Her enchanting words. Guess who has just welcomed a new bonus mom into their life? Embracing the warmth of family connections. I found myself laughing heartily. Embracing the warmth of family connections. That is the mother you desire, please, indulge yourself. The comments section was ablaze with fervor. Hold on a moment. What has become of his beloved wife? Oh my, is that the enchanting Grace Harper? Hailing from Franklin High. Henry possesses an uncanny ability to always find his way back to solid ground. Mythical tale. I gently locked my phone and placed it down with care. Beside me, the scratch-off ticket rested delicately in the drawer. I extended my hand, retrieved it, and gracefully dialed the Oregon lottery line. A melodious voice floated through the speaker. May I kindly present the winning numbers, dear ma'am? You have a span of 67 days to finalize your claim. I released a gentle, lingering breath. I had truly intended to share it. A fund for Leo's college journey. A tender gesture for Samantha. Perhaps a thoughtful consideration for the golden years ahead. Yet, alas, it is not so. Not a single penny. They bestowed upon me no kindness. I felt no obligation to extend them any kindness. The following day, I discovered a quaint little apartment. Nestled just beyond the bustling heart of downtown, this charming spot finds its home along a serene residential lane. It was the cherished abode of a retired couple, who graciously offered their extra unit for rent. $9.50 per month for a charming little balcony and a beautifully open kitchen. With a flourish, I signed the lease and embraced my new abode that very night. Though it was modest in size, as I settled onto the couch, watching the evening sky transform into hues of purple and orange, a realization washed over me. No one in this place would dare to lecture me. Not a soul would elevate their voice. No one shall ever render me unseen. For the very first time, everything bore my name, as if the universe had conspired to weave my essence into its fabric. The bill for the cable service. The shopping cart. Even the YouTube account I have crafted. I perused through brief videos, captivated by women akin to myself, embracing retirement and experiencing a beautiful renaissance. A woman gracefully navigating her RV through the enchanting landscapes of national parks, embracing the journey alone. A septuagenarian capturing the enchanting northern lights amidst the serene Alaskan tundra. A soul embarking on a journey to explore the enchanting depths of the ocean in Key West. Once more, I find myself capturing the enchanting beauty of desert sunsets in New Mexico. My heart began to race. I am leaving, I murmured softly. I shall visit those enchanting places. Yet this time, I shall not be merely accompanying another. This time, the journey belongs to me. Henry and Grace had captured the world's attention. The image of her, clad in his shirt, gracefully bending to wipe the floor in my kitchen, a radiant smile gracing her lips as if she had always been the lady of the house, had captured hearts across Facebook and TikTok. It began with his own words, a delicate invitation to a world of shared dreams. Some emotions linger eternally. After all these years, I believed she was lost to me for eternity. In mere hours, it found its way into the embrace of the Second Chances Facebook group for seniors. Then emerged the enchanting love story channels, weaving together slow-motion clips accompanied by the gentle caress of soft piano melodies. Likes and comments cascaded in, a beautiful surge of affection. Genuine love triumphs. Forevermore. She appears utterly enchanting. Could it be that she is truly 67 years old? My mother, at their age, continues to await her own enchanting love story. This fills my heart with hope. He discovered his soulmate, albeit a touch later than he had hoped. I perched gracefully on the edge of the petite couch in my charming rental, my gaze fixed upon my phone. Every heartfelt blessing seemed to pierce the same tender spot repeatedly, a bittersweet reminder of what once was. A hushed symphony whispers to me, you were never the protagonist in this tale. Not at that moment. Not at this moment. I rose gracefully and made my way to the mirror. The woman gazing back possessed delicate lines framing her eyes and graceful silver strands woven through her hair. Yet, I remained unyielding. She appeared whole, untouched by the shadows of despair. She appeared weary, yet there was an air of familiarity about her. This was not the visage of a wife who had faltered. It was the visage of one who had gracefully borne the weight of a family for 4 decades. And was cast aside like an old piece of furniture. A handful of messages gracefully appeared from Samantha. Mother, if you do not return soon, I fear that Grace may truly win Father's heart. Leo is already enamored with her. She had even shared a delightful meme adorned with Grace's visage, evoking laughter. I found no reason to laugh. It seemed to carry the weight of a caution rather than the lightness of a jest. The victor graces the stage already. You simply overlooked it. I chose not to respond. For years, whenever I mentioned the thought of divorce, they would gently reply, just wait. For the little ones. Thus, I lingered in anticipation. Half a lifetime, a delicate dance of time and memory. Having finally mustered the courage to ask, they now say, at your age, you might find yourself in an embarrassing situation. Certainly. They always believed I would find joy. They feared I might cease to offer myself for their sake. I gracefully settled back onto the sofa and opened my laptop with a gentle touch. In the search bar, I entered the phrase, beginning anew at 67 as a woman. Rediscovering your essence in the wake of a divorce. Reconstructing the bonds of family when the past has left you shattered. The screen became a canvas adorned with article after article. She departed at the age of 70, carrying with her the grace of memories, never glancing back. After my retirement, I found myself navigating the waters of divorce. The most exquisite choice I have ever made. How I discovered my purpose after he departed. I gently clicked each one. I take my time while reading. And I pressed save, sealing the moment with a gentle touch. And as I scrolled, a gentle warmth began to stir within me. A whisper of sound. A modest beginning, yet unmistakably vivid. Perhaps I too have a few words to share. Perhaps the moment has come for me to share my perspective on the tale that has unfolded. The segment that remained unshared. The segment that remained untouched by hashtags. The fragment that was solely mine. Henry and Grace had ascended to the heights of fame. That exquisite photograph. Grace, clad in his shirt, gracefully wiped down my kitchen floor as if she had always been meant to be there. It was merely the dawn of something beautiful. A local television station extended an invitation for them to grace the talk show titled Still Got It. A delightful segment that illuminated the beauty of romances blossoming later in life. Each episode showcased silver-haired couples discovering love in the most unexpected moments. As I switched on the television that fateful night, I found myself captivated, the moment unfolding just as it commenced. Henry donned a navy blue suit, exuding an air of sophistication. His hair was elegantly slicked back, a touch of styling gel adding to his refined allure. A delicate layer of foundation caressing the lines upon his visage. Beside him, Grace adorned herself in a delicate lavender sweater, complemented by elegant pearl earrings. Her expression was tender and soft. Her smile was crafted as if she had devoted her entire existence to perfecting this very instant. The host radiated warmth. This evening, we are graced by the presence of a truly redevidable couple. Once, two childhood sweethearts wandered through life, only to be separated for half a century. And rediscovered one another at the age of 67. Henry gazed into the camera, a charming smile gracing his lips. That weary, enchanting smile of a man who has weathered life's storms before discovering tranquility. Grace and I shared the same classroom during our middle school days. In those days, my heart was captivated by her charm. Yet, I found myself enveloped in shyness, constrained by the strictness of my family, leaving my thoughts unspoken. She wore a floral dress that lingers in my memory as if it were just yesterday. He turned to her, gently taking her hand with a tender grace. She possessed a courage that surpassed my own. She discovered me. She brought this to life. The host's eyes shimmered with a captivating allure. Ah, so you remained unwed during those intervening years? Henry paused, a playful yet bashful laugh escaping his lips, tinged with a hint of feigned modesty. I found myself in a moment of reflection. It was a delicate arrangement. A desire that my parents gently encouraged. We managed to navigate through. Yet, truthfully, had it not been for the children, would have departed long ago. A gentle pressure enveloped my chest. In an instant, a tapestry of decades woven together in shared existence. In a single languid sentence, the essence of meals, the miracle of childbirth, the weight of bills, the echoes of arguments, the joys of raising Samantha, and the tender act of wiping Leo's mouth faded away. I had ceased to be a mere individual. Simply a means to advance the narrative. The chilly, uninvited companion in a second-chance fairy tale. In the span of a mere day, the segment captivated the online realm, igniting a fervor that swept across the digital landscape. TikTok edits graced the trending page with enchanting titles such as "They found each other again after 55 years." My heart is overwhelmed. At 67, she possesses a charm that captivates me. I would still choose to marry her, without a doubt. This is the essence of love, blossoming beautifully when tended to with care, much like a cherished garden. Yet, before I could fully absorb the broadcast, my phone incessantly buzzed with notifications. It appears that I have also captured the attention of many. Not for voicing one's thoughts. Not for being the quiet muse behind the charming figure. Yet, it was the discovery of an ancient security tape that unraveled the past. My spirited exchange with a cashier regarding a mispriced item at a grocery store from years past. They crafted it into a delightful compilation for TikTok and YouTube Shorts. The title elegantly proclaimed, "Meet Henry's First Wife." The Davidette of Karen. The footage appeared blurred and fragmented. My voice emerged, delicate and refined, tinged with a slight tremor of compression. My cheeks flushed with a deep hue of frustration, caught in a moment of suspended expression. The captions were harsh. "This certainly sheds light on the dissolution of the marriage." Henry mentioned that they were merely sharing a home together. I understand the essence of his words. Her fury rivals that of my mother on the most taxing of days. No one inquired as to why a woman in her 60s might find herself in a dispute over a mere handful of dollars. No one pondered whether she had devoted her entire existence to meticulously budgeting for a family that remained blissfully unaware. And what of Henry? He gracefully unveiled a video channel. In our cherished years of splendor. In his inaugural clip, he donned an apron as he gracefully stirred the soup. Grace gracefully stood beside him, delicately slicing the vegetables. Soft jazz floated gently in the background as the video was charmingly titled, "Lunch with Your Favorite Silver-Haired Couple." The kitchen belonged to me. My exquisite countertops. My cherished pots. A delightful recipe for a sumptuous bean stew. The Davids flowed like a gentle serenade of admiration. She possesses a redevable gentleness. It is evident that her heart is deeply entwined with his. Grandpa is maturing beautifully, much like a fine wine at 67. Are you jesting? My tears are flowing. Genuine love is granted another chance. A handful of whispers drifted by. Didn't he possess a wife? Children. Wasn't she nurturing their grandchild prior to their separation? Yet, they were swiftly concealed beneath a cascade of soft pastel hearts and the enchanting allure of #couple goals. I found myself seated at the dining table of my rented apartment, captivated as I watched their video for the third time. I held back my tears. Yet, I felt as though I had been set ablaze. As if a cascade of scalding water had been poured over my chest once more. They transformed love into a symphony of light, delicate filters, and enchanting melodies. And what of me? I never even learned their name. Simply, her. The elusive shadow that once accompanied him in life. I unlocked my phone and gazed upon the photograph I captured at the hospital. My exquisite mid-heel, kissed by the flames of passion. The crimson blister, its surface taut and tender, evokes a sense of discomfort. It was never my desire to reveal anything at all. Yet, at this moment, clarity graced my heart. Should I remain silent, they would continue to craft my tale in their own way, leaving me but a shadow in the narrative. Alas, I found myself without a ring light. There is no theme music. Yet, I possessed the truth. I gently lifted the lid of my laptop. Gently placed the burned photo into a newly created folder, elegantly titled, Assets. This time, I shall not linger in silence, waiting for another to voice their thoughts. This time, I shall share it in my own words. Before I could muster the courage to share my own tale, the one I once cherished most delivered the final, heart-wrenching blow. Just as I believed the darkest days had faded into the past, I stumbled upon Samantha's video. She sat gracefully in the living room, with Leo nestled softly in her lap. The backdrop, ever so recognizable. The sofa, the gallery of memories. The very frames I had delicately hung, one by one, throughout the years. She paused for a moment, contemplating her words before they graced the air. Yet, in an instant, her demeanor transformed into that refined, impeccably crafted tone she had always mastered. My beloved mother. She has always possessed a redevable spirit. On that day, Leo sought to offer her a warm cup of hot cocoa, yet her response was unexpectedly fierce. He found himself gently urged forward. It took some time for the bruise to fade away. Leo, as if guided by an unseen script, nodded with a quiet gravity. I find myself not particularly fond of Grandma. She raises her voice and sends the plates flying. Grace's grandmother never engages in such things. The Davids arrived swiftly, sharp and unrelenting. Whispers of emotional manipulation. She possesses an air that suggests she might be quite a challenge to share one's life with. It is hardly surprising that Henry chose to depart. She shattered the delicate harmony of the family ambience. I nestled into the petite rental couch, phone cradled in my hand, absorbing each word in a hushed reverie. I found no trace of anger within me. My heart felt heavy. None of them had graced that place with their presence. None of them witnessed the instant the cup tipped over or whom it scalded. Yet, with just a few carefully chosen words, they transformed my essence from that of a gentle grandmother to that of a fierce adversary. With a firm grip on the phone, I navigated through a myriad of brief video tutorials, absorbing content strategy insights and platform secrets, until at last, I pressed the button to upload my video. Bathed in the warm glow of the kitchen, I captured a fleeting moment on film. Though my voice quivered, I summoned the strength to articulate my thoughts with clarity. Greetings, I am the former wife of Henry, the grandmother of Leo by birth. What I wish to convey is that not all that meets the eye reveals the complete truth. I have shared it. The views came in but slowly, like a gentle stream finding its way through a quiet landscape. Feeling a twinge of disappointment, I was on the verge of closing the page when a private message unexpectedly appeared. A user by the name of @TruthMatters58 expressed their thoughts. My dear, I had the pleasure of watching your video. It shall remain hidden, unless you employ the perfect words to unveil it. Titles, occasions, symbols. Have faith in me. She shared a screenshot featuring a beautifully revised title suggestion. I pursued it with unwavering devotion. I have reimagined the post, adorned it with a new cover, and unveiled a fresh version titled, Henry Collins, you are embodying the essence of a hero. Perhaps it would be wise to initiate the divorce proceedings first. I included a photograph of my hospital diagnosis, a close-up of my healing burn, accompanied by a soft, gentle voiceover. Indeed, I may have overreacted when the warm embrace of the hot chocolate enveloped me. Yet, I ask you, after 3 decades of silence, of serving and diminishing oneself, who could possibly refrain from breaking just once when cast out from the sanctuary of her own home? In a mere 2 minutes, the video captivated over 10,000 viewers. Just 10 minutes later, it gracefully ascended to the local trending list. Runner-up. The Davids began to evolve. Oh, they haven't finalized their divorce yet? What sort of genuine love is this? To embrace love anew is a beautiful endeavor, yet let us not forget the essence of the woman who once graced our hearts. She shared her medical records, presenting her case with undeniable proof. Naturally, there remained those who voiced their dissent. She confessed to having gently nudged the child. And we are meant to extend our sympathy towards her. I chose not to engage in a dispute. In its place, I shared a second post. Once more, a glimpse and a whisper. Unfiltered, devoid of melodies. A report of medical findings. An image capturing the tender recovery of a wound. Here I am, nestled beneath the soft glow of a dim floor lamp, my gaze unwavering. I did gently urge him forward. Oh, how I wish I could return to that day, where I would embrace the moment with greater grace. Do you believe I am being overbearing? You are indeed correct. For 3 decades, I have gracefully navigated the challenges of towering laundry, soothing children's fevers in the stillness of night, and crafting delightful dinners for 6, all while adhering to a modest budget of $10. Do you perceive me as aggressive simply because I engaged in a discussion about the prices at the Davidette? The funds in question were the remnants of this week's grocery allowance. And if you find yourself curious, I assure you, it was not your father who attained it. I have preserved it. I gently removed it. I extended its reach. In the end, I graciously shared the address of the Davidet. The number of the vendor's stall. Your desire is for it to spread like wildfire. You possess it, without a doubt. Half an hour later, the soft chime of my phone broke the silence. Henry. It was his second call since I revealed the news of our separation. I beheld the name dance gracefully across the screen. Allow it to ring thrice before you respond. I was already aware of what this entailed. He wasn't reaching out to inquire about my return. He was reaching out, for the flames had at last embraced him. I responded to the call. Henry's voice surged through the line, a tempest of raw emotion. My dearest Evelyn. Please remove that video at once. At this moment. I gently drew the phone away from my ear, my voice steady and composed. I shall not remove it. All that I expressed was but the purest truth. Just a gentle reminder, our cooling-off period concludes in 4 days. Once that judgment is submitted, our journey together comes to an end. Then I gently ended the call. Without a moment's doubt. The comments section remained a tumultuous arena. Critics were harshly scrutinizing Henry and Grace, labeling them as insincere, while they unleashed their ire on Samantha for betraying her own mother, and even ensnared Leo in the swirling tide of trending tags. Yet, none of it held significance any longer. Not for me. I clutched my winning lottery ticket with a sense of anticipation and delight. Only 4 more days remain. And I would not merely be claiming a reward. I would be gracefully turning the page on the final chapter of my life. To speak candidly, the last fortnight spent in solitude has been quite the experience. Those days had been the softest whispers of tranquility, a gentle embrace of serenity that I had not known in many years. Silence reigns, with no calls for the evening feast. Let my thoughts flow uninterrupted. There is no one to cast judgment upon me as I negotiate for my produce, as if such actions could diminish my worth. Just as I was on the verge of setting my phone aside, another unfamiliar number illuminated my screen with a gentle glow. It was indeed Grace. Her voice remained that same gentle, sweetly laced melody. My dearest Evelyn. I acknowledge that I may have erred as well, and I seek no excuses for my actions. However, I kindly ask if you might contemplate removing the video. It has truly been a challenging journey for me. A gentle smile graced my lips. She possessed an uncanny ability to transform vulnerability into a powerful allure. Ah, the memories of 7th grade linger in my mind. She had misplaced an eraser. Did not utter a name. She began to weep softly, her gaze fixed upon me. Then she gently murmured, Evelyn, might you return it to me? I had not taken anything at all. Yet, that solitary tear cast a shadow over the entire class, turning their hearts away from me. I ought to have realized it back then. Grace always possessed an unwavering certainty. Merely a spectator. This time, I did not offer her comfort. I merely reiterated, with a touch of grace, that the video remains. You have embraced the role with grace. Embrace the moment and immerse yourself in the reviews. Just a few days later, Henry and Grace chose to part ways with their accounts. Samantha's so-called brand has gracefully unraveled. Collaborations faded away, and her comment sections became a tempest against her. She fell into a profound silence. At last, the day arrived. Signing of the divorce judgment. County Court. Henry and I had arranged to rendezvous in the elegant lobby of the courthouse. Upon my arrival, he was already present, with Grace gracefully entwined around his arm. He gazed at me, a hint of disdain in his voice as he reiterated, Do you truly believe that life improves in my absence? Allow me to express, should you ever find yourself returning, know that the door shall remain closed to you. I gently raised my hand, interrupting him with a soft grace. Unwind. I do not partake in recycling. The clerk gracefully announced our names. We entered the office, signing beneath the attentive gaze of the court staff, and gracefully finalized the papers. The clerk glanced up and reiterated, A formal decree shall be sent to both of you next week. Upon its arrival, your civil status shall be gracefully and officially updated. I inclined my head in agreement. The unseen thread that has guided me through 4 decades of maintaining my composure. At last, it broke free. As I emerged from the office, my gaze fell upon Grace and Henry, gracefully positioned to the side. She whispered, her voice trembling with anticipation, "How soon will we receive the paperwork? Shall we arrange for our marriage license?" Henry caressed her hand with a tender touch. "Before long. Just a moment more, my love. Then it shall be made official." As he spoke, he turned and glanced back, seeking assurance that I was indeed captivated by his words. I once was. And a gentle smile graced my lips. Freshly liberated from the bonds of matrimony, they are already preparing for their next enchanting performance. So filled with anticipation. How delightful it is to feel such pride. I paused at the exit and gracefully read-a-vida'd, "No rush. Simply hold on, dear. In due time, you shall inherit my former role." Her complexion turned ashen. Henry no longer wore that air of smugness. Grace parted her lips, as if poised to unleash a retort. Yet remained silent. Perhaps it was the ambience of the gathering. Perhaps she was taken aback by my serene demeanor. Henry whispered softly to himself, "Let her be. She has always possessed a flair for the dramatic." I find it disheartening when individuals transform life into mere spectacle. I sighed softly and turned away with a graceful step. Only a solitary thought lingered in the depths of my mind. Men, regardless of their years, often embody a certain self-absorption that is quite read-a-vida'able. And to be honest, none of them truly stand out in any read-a-vida'able way. You are not unique. I had come across that phrase while browsing online. There remained an abundance of knowledge yet to be discovered. A world of exquisite moments awaits to be embraced. As I stepped out of the courthouse, I gracefully opened my phone. The most captivating comment on one of my recent videos truly captured my attention. Is she truly embarking on a new journey at this stage of her life? I hold her in the highest regard. A gentle smile graced my lips. And softly murmured to myself, "So do I." On the dawn following the arrival of my divorce decree, I secured a train ticket and set forth to the Oregon Lottery office in Portland. I found myself seated by the window on the Amtrak, observing the world glide past in a graceful dance. Bridges, rivers, and towns dance by, each a shimmering delight, as if the world is putting on a grand performance just for my eyes. For the very first time, I sensed it deep within my being. The world truly extended far beyond the confines of kitchens and laundry rooms. The sky over Portland wore a hue of blue that had eluded me for years. The edifices reached higher, the pathways gleamed with cleanliness, and the individuals moved with a lively grace, each step imbued with intent. I found my fingers gently brushing through my hair, a wave of self-awareness washing over me, as I pondered how quaintly I must appear in this small town. Then I smiled to myself, a gentle warmth blooming within. For now, I possessed the opportunity to bridge the distance. At the claim center, I gracefully signed the check, attended a tax briefing, and even consented to a local TV interview. Before the lens, I donned the exquisite wool coat I had recently acquired, speaking with a serene grace that I had cultivated through trials. I wished to contribute a part of the winnings to a women's shelter. In this city, countless women continue to feel ensnared, much like I once experienced. I wish for them to understand that there exists a path to freedom. In that very moment, I penned a check for $100,000 to the Safe Haven Women's Network. Following the airing of the segment, a wave of admirers graced my new social media account. This woman is truly the epitome of success. After a divorce, fortune smiled upon me as I won the lottery, and in a beautiful twist of fate, I chose to share my good fortune with others. Symbol of allure. This is the true essence of female empowerment. I kindly implore you to embark on the journey of starting a podcast. I shall kneel to listen to the tale of your union. Wishing you an abundance of good fortune. Dearest Grandma, might you kindly share the links to your hair color and coat? Indeed, they were correct. There remained a wealth of endeavors awaiting my embrace. To begin with, a fresh hairstyle. I have secured a delightful appointment at a charming salon in the heart of downtown. Nora, my stylist, was a silver-haired Latina in her 50s, her laughter a delightful melody, complemented by her striking red manicure. She delicately wove her fingers through my salt and pepper roots and inquired, "Are you prepared for a new adventure?" I gazed into my reflection, meeting my own eyes, and whispered, "Ash brown, with a hint of luster." I desire to embody the essence of a woman stepping gracefully into her new chapter. In the past, I often resorted to the most affordable box dye, repeatedly applying it to conceal the gray strands that whispered of time's passage. Thus, he would refrain from uttering, "You appear timeless." In the past, I never indulged in purchasing a single piece of clothing that exceeded the modest sum of $50. For Henry would surely scoff. "At this tender age of yours? What is it that you seek to demonstrate with such vibrant hues?" Yet, that afternoon, I found myself wandering into the Burberry boutique nestled in the heart of downtown. No one expressed their disdain. No one inquired, "Do you truly desire that?" I selected the most exquisite trench coat I had ever laid my hands upon. The saleswoman offered a warm smile as she delicately folded it into a bag, her movements graceful and poised. "Is this your first time?" I returned the smile with warmth. This David's the very first occasion I have indulged in a purchase solely for my own delight. I invested $5,000 to honor the woman who has finally embraced her own worth. In the weeks that ensued, it seemed as though I had discovered a splendid new key to existence. A key that revealed hidden doors I had yet to discover. I discovered the art of navigating the subway. Mastering the art of Amtrak travel with grace and ease. In the days leading up to my inaugural flight, I found myself captivated by the allure of airport terminal maps, poring over them with a fervent curiosity. Concerned that I might find myself in the wrong line or mistakenly board the incorrect plane, or perhaps inadvertently cause a delay for those around me. But naturally, I found myself lost in a web of contemplation. At the gate, a young airline employee glanced up, her eyes sparkling with a hint of recognition. "My dear lady, I came across your enchanting story online. I sincerely wish that you are embracing the beauty of life to its fullest at this moment." I smiled with a warm and unwavering grace. In that moment, a profound understanding dawned upon me. With each step I took, I wove the fabric of my own tale. I ventured to enchanting locales that once graced my television screen. The hot springs of Yellowstone glimmered as if the heavens had poured forth their vibrant hues upon the earth. The northern lights in Alaska were a breathtaking reality, not merely a filter. They truly existed. The gentle caress of the ocean breeze in Key West. As it graced my skin, a profound realization washed over me. 67 was not tardy. The timing was simply exquisite. I embarked on a delightful journey, creating an Instagram account to share enchanting snapshots from my travels. Beneath each one, I inscribed a caption in the finest English I could conjure. Rediscovering my joy, moment by moment. Upon my return from travels, I acquired a charming two-bedroom abode nestled in a lakeside town, where the air was infused with the scent of pine and the evening light waltzed gracefully upon the water's surface. The kitchen window elegantly framed each sunset, casting a warm glow that danced across the room. The balcony was adorned with the delicate blooms of lavender. I welcomed a charming gray and white stray cat into my home. He was named Charlie. Charlie never pleaded for love. He whiled away the hours nestled behind the curtains, playfully pursuing the delicate dance of dust motes and the warm embrace of sunbeams. Yet each night, as if guided by an unseen rhythm, he nestled by the door. He safeguards my slumber, as if he understands that some hearts wander too long without a sanctuary, yearning for something tender and warm to keep vigil. I have embraced the opportunity to serve as a community volunteer. Charming excursions to procure provisions for the elderly. Visits to the hospital. Creating delightful treats for community gatherings. In the beginning, I was affectionately referred to as the new Lady Evelyn. Yet, before long, I found myself embodying our Evelyn. For the first time, I grasped the essence of being cherished, rather than merely utilized. These days have captured my heart. Serene. Uncomplicated. as pure and crisp as newly laundered linen. Days that passed without a trace. Then the enchanting calls from Samantha began to arrive. Initially, her tone was sweetly adorned. "Dearest mother, why did you keep the delightful news of your lottery win from us? What of that generous donation? One might have considered purchasing a charming abode within the city's embrace." I responded with a touch of nonchalance, "Oh truly?" And then, in that moment of quiet anticipation, she lingered in uncertainty. In the distance, Leo's voice gently reached my ears. "Dearest Grandma, how I long for your presence. When shall you return to our cherished abode?" A soft chuckle escaped my lips. "It seems you have a new grandmother in your life, don't you? It is best not to confuse them." A prolonged silence lingered on the line. Then Samantha gracefully reclaimed the phone, a hint of exasperation lacing her voice. "Dearest mother, you have gracefully reached the age of 67. Engaging in social media games may not be the wisest choice for you. That money ought to be reserved for Leo. And for your peace of mind as the years unfold." I let out a soft sigh, my eyes drifting upward in a graceful arc. My crawfish had lost its warmth. Text, I let out a soft sigh, savoring a sip of my beer. It's amusing, for whenever one of you reaches out, my appetite seems to vanish into thin air. I reclined gracefully, my voice steady and serene. "Fear not. When my time comes, there will be no need for disputes over possessions. I have already composed my will. Every penny is being graciously given to those in need." Then I gently ended the call. She made another attempt to call later on. I have chosen to block her. At times, I find myself glancing at her public posts, drawn by a sense of amusement. Gliding through the feed as one might savor a delightful collection of whimsical tales. There exists a term on the internet for individuals of that nature now. Virtual companions. Ah, those individuals who remain silent until beckoned by a gentle touch. Indeed. That is who she has become. As the months gracefully unfolded, I observed that the enchanting videos of Henry and Grace had ceased to grace my screen. Initially, there was only a profound stillness on their channel. Then, a whisper from a local forum revealed the secrets. Grace had returned to her sister's embrace, while Henry graced the community events alone, a solitary figure amidst the gathering. There has been no formal announcement as of yet. No sincere expression of emotion. Merely a curtain descending softly, davide-ing the conclusion of a performance that felt all too fleeting. As the weeks gracefully unfolded, time continued its gentle march. And then, quite astonishingly, Henry reached out to me. I gazed at the screen for a moment before responding. On the other end, he cleared his throat, striving for a tone that felt effortlessly casual. "Greetings, Evelyn. How have you been faring?" I stood by the kitchen window, observing Charlie as he stretched on the sunlit balcony, and replied with a hint of playful elegance, "Are you hoping to film a sequel?" He remained silent. A few elongated moments drifted by. Then arrived the line I had anticipated. "I find myself pondering, perhaps there remains a glimmer of hope for us." A gentle smile graced my lips. "My sincerest apologies. At this moment, I find myself in the enchanting embrace of Alaska, gazing upon the mesmerizing dance of the northern lights. The signal leaves much to be desired. I must take my leave now." And with that, I gently ended the call. He has been removed from my contacts. For even the digital companions. At times, one finds that they have gracefully moved beyond them as well. I require no external validation to define my essence, dictate my actions, or measure my worth. I possess a charming little abode of my own. Charlie stands sentinel by the door as night envelopes the world. My neighbors graciously leave behind delightful muffins. In return, I craft for them delightful apple pies. I rise at my leisure. I drift into a serene slumber. And I choose to speak only when the moment inspires me. At long last, I have embraced the sweet freedom of retirement from the tapestry of their lives.